Winter is coming.
Might just be the cold.
Winter is coming.
It's cold outside.
You don't know cold.
Winter is coming for him.
It's either me or this cold, and it doesn't appear to be going anywhere.
And winter is coming.
You look cold, boys.
Tis a bit nippy.
Winter is coming. Winter is coming.
That's cold. Winter is coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cold.
It's cold and it's wet.
Winter is coming.
You're crying because you're cold?
You're a long way from home. And winter is coming.
I imagine you might be rather cold.
And winter is coming.
Oh, that's all right, I'm fine.
You're not. You're freezing.
And winter is here. We're back with Russ Winter of winterwatch.net, and we are going to take you behind the scenes today on a sordid journey through the private digs of Jeffrey Epstein. He had the largest residential property in Manhattan, courtesy of Les Wexnar. And Russ Winter has found some very interesting photos and video that we're going to survey and go through one by one and give you a kind of a look behind the eyes wide shut world of Jeffrey Epstein. So without any further delay, let's bring the man on.
Yeah, the eyes wide shut describes it perfectly. I'm kind of used to a lot of this stuff now. You know, I've looked down a lot of rabbit holes, and I got to tell you, this one's kind of got to me a little bit. It's like, holy crap. I mean, can you imagine being one of these guests that would go into his home and seeing this stuff? And what would you think? Nothing normal about it. There's also a story that he couldn't entertain anybody, that he was not a good entertainer. He couldn't prepare food. And eventually Woody Allen's wife came to his rescue to kind of instruct him and give him assistance on entertaining guests. But this is his pads. This is the pad, a 7-story house that he would entertain his guests in. And so we're going to see what's laying around on the tables, what's on the walls, what's down the creepy little corridors, what's in the rooms.
I think they call it lifestyles of the rich and filthy.
Somebody's got to come up with a good term. Come on, Chet.
No, I think that lifestyles of the rich and filthy, I think that sums it up.
Okay.
Right. Filthy in a moral sense. Right.
Rich and degenerate.
So before we jump in here, let's just, hang out for a little bit. We'll let the chat populate, and, we still have a few seats in the back. Russ, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Not too much change from last week. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. I've got this heart procedure that I'm going to be going through on Tuesday this coming week.
They're just going to look around, put a arthroplasty in there, and look around, or more.
So to quote the great Motley Crue, they're going to kickstart my heart or jumpstart my heart. So I've got arrhythmia. So what they do is they put you under and they give you the emergency treatment, right? And
so beta blockers doesn't work for you?
No, I don't even really want beta blockers.
Well, they really work, man. They're really pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, this is the course of action.
Okay.
Right? And then I'm also going to have an echocardiogram while I'm under. So, I haven't had any anesthesia since I was 20 and I shattered my elbow. So that'll be interesting. And, Yeah. So that's what's happening with me. And hopefully it's as easy as that. If not, then I've got to figure out how to get my heart back into a regular rhythm, because it's kind of taking a toll on my
Have you had any arterial fibrillation attacks where it really goes into overdrive and you almost pass out? Have you had that?
No, but I don't want to get into like, oh, well, what about this? And I felt that, and I got this going on. But no,
Yeah.
I mean that's the story that old people tell each other. Yeah,
I know. I'm getting pretty boring.
So, but I did have a crisis where I put on about 30 pounds of water weight because my internal organs were shutting down because my heart just couldn't pump.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was back in August.
Well, I mean, I've had personal experience with this arrhythmia. Mine's pretty much under control, and I use beta blockers. And the key for me is sleep, because I have some sleep apnea, and getting through the nights with good night's sleep really critical.
It's all interconnected.
Yeah,
it is all interconnected. It's part of a holistic system, and if one thing breaks down, another thing breaks down, and another thing breaks down. But they're all connected. Right. And so is there a way to attack the center or at least heal part of the center so the rest of the parts heal themselves? Do you heal each part individually? Is it all of the above? Well, that's my journey right now. So,
well, good luck.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Anything else happening in your world?
You're still young, so I'm confident that you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think so. And I've got a pretty good cardiologist, and he better be damn good at this point. This is a funny story, right?
You better hope he's good with the little shock thing, huh?
This is a funny story. Right. So when you hit 65, you get Medicare here. So I just went through that. I just turned 65 in September, and the journey to Medicare and its attendant supplements couldn't have come at a sooner time because I actually needed them. And I was in his office, and I was in the chair, and he's examining me. And this is in Austin, right? So Austin tends to be kind of liberal. And he says to me, "Oh, isn't it great that President Johnson did this for us?" And he was being serious, right?
Kind of a funny thing to say.
Right. And I'm like, I probably have a bit of a different idea, but I don't want to call him on it because this guy's in charge of my heart. Right. Yeah, like I want him like
just sort of shut the fuck up about your politics.
Exactly. I don't want him to turn the device up a little higher than he normally turns it up. I'm not ready for that. Oh yeah, Johnson, great president. I'm really thankful for him and his war on poverty, which set us back about 40 years. Anyway, that's my story and humor. Anything else going on? And we're going to talk a little bit about, what's really interesting. We're going to put a pin on this. But do you remember last week before the show, I showed you the picture of Maduro and Saddam Hussein together? Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yeah. Premonition, some kind of premonition.
It was a premonition, man. I had a premonition.
And then it happened that night.
It
right?
happened that night. They freaking Saddam Husseined him.
Yeah. Yeah, they bought somebody off. They got into the security and paid somebody off and got in there. Well, but they killed the whole palace guard and a bunch of Cuban security guys. They just butchered them.
They must have had some inside people, right? They had
they had to shoot their way in there. It wasn't quite as easy as they made it at first.
They had one guy who was following Maduro all the time. And knew his schedule, and he was the one that dialed in his whereabouts in the palace or whatever. But I also feel like, and I'd love your theory on this, that they had the Chinese radar and the early warning systems, and they didn't work. Like, do you think that they were just malfunctional, or do you think that they had somebody on the inside that had flipped them off.
Yeah, same thing. They went in and bought off some of the key elements of
that's what I
the
think too.
operation. And then,
That's
of course, they also have like radar covering the palace itself. It must have been switched off.
Right. Yeah. So I've heard that, what's his name? Eric Prince, formerly of Blackwater, Z. I think he's got a new name for his mercenary outfit, that he's been working on this for 2 years. Did you hear that?
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah, they probably have been. They probably have all kinds of deep state operators going, lining up the key personnel. They have to.
Yeah. So this is a byproduct of planning. So if there's a byproduct of planning for the removal of Nicolas Maduro, what are the other plans?
No, they can take anybody out. It's just like total wildcat diplomacy. Do anything they want.
So
it's not good. I mean, there's got to be some boundaries and boundaries in place.
So, yeah, that's something I really want to talk about when we get there. I'm going to save it for when we get there. But I want to set the stage because I think this kind of expose on Epstein and his living quarters and his kind of eyes wide shut lifestyle that we're going to get into is one of the reasons why this is happening, right? We are going to be held hostage to a sensationalistic series of events that are going to distract us and take us away from this cauldron that's known as Jeffrey Epstein and really the deep state. Let's just look at this for a second. In the past 3 weeks alone, we had the Somalian daycare story, which we covered last week. We've had the Maduro extraction, and now we've had the shooting of Miss Good up in Minneapolis. And these are all three fairly major newsworthy events that are taking up the space and not allowing people to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. So I'm going to throw this out to you. How much of this do you think that we're experiencing now is an engineered distraction from today's subject matter?
Well, I can kind of answer that indirectly and refer you to my article that I wrote this last week on Nicolas Maduro and his 7 outerwear clothing changes.
Yeah.
You want to look at that now quickly or go on?
Sure. Let's look at it now, and then we'll.
This just gives you kind of clues, and I don't know exactly what this means. People can decide for themselves, but I find it very odd that he would have to have 7 clothing changes on his way from Caracas to jail in New York. And I kind of challenge anybody to give me some rational reasons that this happened. You see the article, and
yeah,
it's not in my round the webs, it's in my main articles.
Yeah, I'm getting there now. I usually have to burn my first share because it doesn't show up. What's this? Stop sharing. Burn that. The joys of StreamYard, Russ. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, we're in. Here we go. Let me Let me get back up here, and I can.
Okay, so if we scroll down the pages, it's a fairly simple article, and we're just looking at different photos taken of Maduro during this operation. So there's one right there where he's blindfolded. I'm not quite sure why he's blindfolded. He's already in flight someplace.
Right.
But he's dressed in black pants and kind of a shirt, like a long sleeve shirt,
Yeah.
So he didn't wear that. I doubt if he wore that at the presidential palace. I mean, probably it's not too cold there in Caracas. So why would he even need to have a? But anyway, that's secondary. The main thing is look at now. He's got a wardrobe change. He's being taken off some plane, and that's the same photo at a different angle, but the colors are all different. So maybe we could count that the same. It's kind of the same overcoat. Next one under that, he's decked out in it's kind of like a white tropical outfit, long sleeve. With white pants.
Yeah.
He's on a flight someplace, so that's number 3. Now here's kind of the one that's kind of famous that people are going crazy on X because it's kind of memeable.
Yeah, right.
Kind of his Nike outfit with some weird glasses on there. Everybody's having a good time with this.
It's like he's doing Oculus or something. He's in
Yeah.
some sort of VR world, right? He's remembering what it's like to be back in his room in his palace there with his.
Somebody says the last one we saw, the white, those look like pajamas. I don't know. Maybe.
No,
because he's got a collar.
Yeah, that's like a Mexican sort of peasant shirt, right? Like you would see that and like I'm like a farm worker or somebody like that. Like it's a very
casual,
very traditional sort of Mexican long sleeve working class shirt, and he's got kind of matching, cream khakis. Right. I think that's pretty traditional.
Now, the question I asked the question, do we have good timestamps and documentation? No, not really, but these are all photos of him supposedly taken during the operation, put out by various sources. And, are they authentic? Maybe not. But supposedly they had quite a few photos of him during this operation. It was like huge propaganda to take pictures next to him. And here they are leading him off in this blue outfit. And then that one next to him, he's in a black outfit with a hat. Now this blue outfit's funny. Go to the next, go down to the next. Okay, read this. Welcome to America. Unfortunately, our patriot, I can't quite read that. Can you read it? Patriot blue.
You mean on the shirt itself?
Yeah, it's the maker of the shirt.
Yeah, right. So he's wearing this shirt.
Right. And the maker of the shirt tweets out that unfortunately the Patriot Blue RTX shirt won't be shipped until spring.
But how did he get
one? Yeah, how did he get one? So Are we getting to the point where Trump is putting out like little side deals with some of these clothing companies to put their clothes?
Why not?
That sounds like something Trump would do.
If he could make a buck off of it, why not?
Exactly.
That seems to be his MO. Brode was taken out of Venezuela as president and landed in the U.S. as a brand influencer.
Right. A lot of comments like that.
Carhartt is wishing like hell that he was wearing one of their sweatshirts, right? That would be one of their competitors. Carhartt is probably saying, why wasn't Maduro wearing our hoodie when he left? God damn it. So if you're Carhartt, you look around at the despots of the world. Hey, should we send some of our gear to Khomeini? Maybe we should send, because he's the next one to go. Why don't we send some gear to him? So when they abduct him, he'll be wearing a Carhartt sweatshirt, and then we'll get the marketing on that one. What else do we have here? Steal his look.
The cost of it. This is the Nike outfit. How you can get the pants. Those pants look nice. I'd like to have a pair of pants like that.
You can, how many people are going to be Maduro for Halloween?
Exactly. The Nike Tech Fleece hoodie.
It wouldn't take much, man. They've got it all there for you.
The Peltor Optimus ear protection. The performance laser eyewear. Kind of expensive though. But they got him decked out for a prisoner. They got him decked out with some of the best eyeglasses and ear protectors. Why is he wearing an ear protector? Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Too bad the water's not branded. You could probably go with that too. Right. Just make sure your water has a blue top when you dress up as Nick Maduro. Isn't it interesting too that the name Nick is kind of circulating? Right. You've got, it's Nicholas Fuentes, right? Nicholas Shirley, Nicholas Maduro. And you even have Nike, which is kind of like Nick.
I think it's a little bit of a Latin name.
Well, Nick is a pseudonym for the devil. Yeah.
St. Nicholas.
Well, it's not just St. Nicholas, but like also when you nick somebody, like you're stealing something from someone, when you nick them, and the devil is known for stealing souls, right? So it's like nicking a soul. So there's this whole connection with the word Nick and the devil. Anyway, old Saint Nick, yeah. All right, so the Delta team walks in, face zero resistance. Well, then we know that that's not really true.
But that's true. That was the original story,
right?
So yeah, that's kind of an out of date observation. That's true. So you don't have to go through that.
So you've got the update there.
Yeah, I don't really know what this clothes thing means. They could have slipped him out the back door and have a doppelganger. You know, they are doing sketches of him in the court. His wife, when she stepped out. Finally, they showed her. Didn't really look like the pictures I've seen of his wife. But the clothes thing, what the hell? What's going on there? That's a little.
So
bit.
Do you think we're being duped?
I think we're being punked in some way. I'm not exactly sure how we're being punked, but I think we're being punked.
Yeah, there seems to be a very eclectic series of wardrobe changes here,
including outfits that aren't even on the market.
You know what this reminds me of? Can you see the picture?
Yeah,
the two guys in the copter and he's blindfolded.
Yeah,
this picture reminds me. Do you remember Elian Gonzalez?
No.
Elian Gonzalez was this Cuban kid who came over on the flotilla, and he was staying with his uncle in Miami. And his father in Cuba wanted him back. This was a big deal. It was right around the time of David Koresh and Mount Carmel. It was right around that time. And there was this big custody case involved, and Janet Reno got in the center of it, and she ruled that the boy had to be returned to his father in Cuba. And there's a photo. Let me see if I can find this. This was a pretty famous case.
Yeah, I kind of remember. So he was returned kind of in handcuffs or almost like a prisoner.
Yeah, I'll share it. Can you see that? That kind of reminds me of that photo in some ways. And this photo went out over the internet. It went out it was like on the front page of newspapers everywhere. And I remember seeing this photo.
So they had the poor kid at gunpoint, pointing a gun at it.
The photo's mind control, right? The message here is we can come into your house anytime we want and take your child by force. That's the message.
Yep.
And when I saw this, I knew it clearly.
And now they've done it to Nicolas Maduro.
Now they've done it to Maduro.
You could be sleeping. You could be the president. You have the best security in the world, and you're sleeping there in your bed with your wife, and then they're grabbing you and hauling you off and making 7 clothes changes on the way to New York.
And that's
why New York? You know, why are they trying him in New York? What's that all about? It's
that southern district of New York.
Yeah, that's where they do all the weird deep state stuff.
They had Jeffrey Epstein. They had P. Diddy. now they've got Maduro, Southern District of New York.
And they got this Haverstein, Judge Haverstein, who's a Jewish judge that handled the 9/11 survivors cases. Made sure there weren't too many investigations. Kind of kept those people quiet and got them paid off quietly.
Well, he's a bit of a fossil, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I got to hand it to the guy.
Like, how old is he? He's got. He's in his 90s.
I mean, I'm getting to the point. I used to think I'd be 92, make it to 92 because of my parents, but I don't know. It's not going to be that easy.
Well, I think you've got some good genes, and as long as you take care of yourself, you got some more mileage on those tires. So again, just to recap, the rapidity of these events, starting with the Somalia thing, going to Maduro, which was just last week, and all of a sudden, let's go shoot somebody in Minnesota with ICE. And now we've got that. And I feel like a lot of this is just a distraction from the fact that there are people.
Well, the whole ICE thing is credible to me because they've got these guys in masks. They're going around like Cheka. I keep talking about Cheka all the time.
Well, I have a theory, and I think there are people who have proven this out. They've got members of the IDF that are embedded with ICE.
That's right. And they go around in masks, and that's not appropriate behavior. I'm sorry, you just can't go around terrifying people showing up with a mask.
And the thing that they've done is
the message is they're going to come to your friggin' door in the middle of the night, masked men in black, kick your door down and grab you and take you away. That's the subliminal,
absolutely
brainwashing going on here.
It's like Elian Gonzalez. It's the same. It's a different iteration, but the same effect. We could take you.
And God help you if you panic. If you, like this poor lady apparently did in Minnesota, kind of panicked, but it was just overkill. They shot her like 2 extra times.
So one of the things, and I'd love your feedback on this, is that there are people who are thrilled that we went and got Maduro, right? They're thrilled. There are people that are thrilled that ICE didn't take any shit from another libtard and she got what she deserved, so fuck her, right? There is a certain portion, and I'm not saying that fuck around, you fuck around and find out, FOFA, that happens. And, it's like, this is what happens.
Yeah, somebody in a black mask comes and points a gun at you. You got to react correctly, otherwise you could get killed. But is it really the way it should be?
But
no.
This is so unlike Kent State. Remember, and there are some people that say Kent State was a false flag, but when Kent State happened, people were outraged. Neil Young wrote a song about it, right? Ohio, and it was shocking, and nobody during that time was cheering on more Kent State kind of violence on universities. But there are people that are cheering this on now. They're like, fuck yeah, let's just get out there and take more out. They deserve it. So we've created, it's not we, but the social engineers have created this cauldron. And we're being cooked in this cauldron. And people don't even know that they're being manipulated.
Yeah, right? I think you're right. I think you're right. And then, the thing about Maduro too is that they told a wild story about all the drug trafficking.
And then they say, it's not true.
Right. Yeah, the Los Soyos is not. Welcome to New York. Oh, by the way, the Los Soyos drug cartel isn't real.
And they started, and then they started carpet bombing the Caribbean with these fishing boats to establish whether it was real or not, that these boats were bringing drugs into the country. And so
the message there is exactly like you're saying. We can do anything we want to you. We can make up any rules, any lies we want. And it's really not about Maduro personally. It's about the process of being, rule of law and having some honesty and truthfulness and not setting somebody up, even if somebody is a bad dude. And I don't know. I don't have that strong of feelings about Maduro. But I don't accept the Fox News version of who he is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Then there's this whole, theory, which kind of gets into the multiple change of clothes, right? That, hold on a second. Let me get out of this. There's this whole theory with the multiple change of clothes that Maduro had actually been removed 2 weeks earlier. Have you heard this theory?
No.
Yeah, there was already a deal struck 2 weeks earlier, and that this whole extraction thing was just for show.
Yeah, that would tie into the 7 changes of clothes theory. I think that would support that. So the theory is they sent him off to Brazil. Brazil's holding him safekeeping.
I've heard he's in Moscow. That's what I've heard.
Moscow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would be welcome to in Brazil. They would cover for him.
Well, they would, but Moscow seems to be sort of the place where the outcasts go, right? Assad is in Moscow, and what's his name? Snowden's in Moscow.
Yeah.
So it feels like Khomeini will probably wind up in Moscow. If he isn't there already, with what's going on.
Yeah, something's going on there. It sounds like their government might just collapse.
So the CIA's been working overtime.
So let me tell you something about Iran, because I get pretty good information about Iran. If Khomeini goes, the Revolutionary Guard will take over, and those guys are hardcore. They'll do a huge clampdown on the whole country. And that'll be the excuse for the Israelis and the U.S. to attack them.
Well, I've heard that they want to insert the Shah's son. Like they want him to run Iran again.
Right. And I think he's fairly popular in the diaspora, like in the United States, but I don't think he is in Iran itself.
I mean, wouldn't it be ironic that they stage a coup to remove his father, and then they stage a coup to put the son in? Like, well,
it'll be they're going to have to get by the Revolutionary Guard first. The Revolutionary Guard will take over the whole country and really clamp down. That's what will happen.
So Ms. North's Musings says, the Ayatollah is literally on his last 3 toes. He's very ill and very old.
Yeah, that's part of it too, that he may just be finished in the line.
Yeah, so they have these other Ayatollahs, though, right? There's a whole group of clerics there.
Right.
You would think that they would have one that would step into the breach and then, lead their people.
Definitely, but the problem is they've got people in the streets, and there's sort of this so-called uprising, or appears to be an uprising. How much of it is legitimate and true, and not propaganda is an open question.
That's really the challenge of the time we live in now, is discerning what's real information from what is manufactured. And AI doesn't help to that end, because we could be getting AI images of stuff. Even when they were, quote unquote, showing pictures of people celebrating in the streets of Caracas, those were pictures that had nothing to do with that event.
Right. Did a lot of that.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh,
well, Venezuelans in Miami celebrating. Oh, well, okay. I could believe that.
Yeah. But they actually had pictures from past celebrations that they were using to show people that the Venezuelans were celebrating, and it had nothing to do with that event.
I was going to give you a little background on Venezuelan politics that I've kind of discovered is this Rodriguez family, the vice president. She's not just a nominal character. She's actually part of a very powerful political family. And her brother is like the head of the legislature. And her father was one of the main backers of Hugo Chavez, very wealthy. The father is now dead. But the lady running the show right now is not just a lightweight. She's a major figure within Venezuela, but she's also Chavinista, and the people there are really watching her closely that she not bow to the United States, not give up too much to U.S. demands, because there's rival groups. There's several rival factions, so the whole country could totally blow up, and they could possibly toss her out of power. So that's the setup there that Trump is dealing with, and Trump, he doesn't know how to tread lightly on a situation like that.
No, he'll come in with a bludgeon. That's his style. Her name is Delcy Rodriguez, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Well, let's jump into the mansion. I think I can see people are chopping at the bits.
All right, get your tickets. Get your tickets, boys and girls. We're going into Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. Let me see here. All right, I've got where's that video? I've got the video up. And then do you want to start at the video, or do you want to start?
No, I'm just taking pieces out of it. The video's too long, and I don't want to hear the guy talk. So when you see the 8, I've marked off the stuff I want to show everybody.
So you do want to go into the video?
Yeah, use the video. Mute the sound on him.
Okay.
So we can't hear him. We can't hear his analysis. We're here to hear our analysis.
Okay,
that's why we get paid the big bucks to hear our analysis.
That's right. We put the anal in analysis. All right. Let's do 850.
Yeah. Let's just start there.
Okay, 850. All right. So is 850, is that the first, like you have the first bookmark actually it's at 850. Okay, hold on. 850
to 930. So there's just little clips. Just play them one after another. We can get through this.
All right,
so you're gonna have to
I'm gonna mute it.
Right. And you're gonna have to kind of work your cursor on.
Yeah, no worries. We got this.
And we can just interject at any time.
Okay, here we go. Should I slow it down a little bit? Get a little slow action?
Oh, no, normal speed.
Well, if we do a little slow on it, we can.
We'll probably never get through. We got quite a bit of material.
All right, well, I'm going to do 0.25. Give people a little chance to linger on some of these images. All right, do you see a blue crystal ball?
Yeah.
Is that what you see? All right, here we go. And then we've got the blue stairs. And
a lot of blue. Lots of blue.
And what's in that crystal ball? It looks like is that a dolphin?
No idea. It's just a lot. It's sort of a lot of esoteric stuff. I don't know enough about crystal balls or anything like that to really know.
It looks like this to me looks like a dolphin. And do you think that, well, the other side is a wall, but do you think that there would be another one of these on the other side that would match? Question mark. But this also reminds me in some ways of Ghislaine Maxwell, because she had that thing that she was doing. What was it, like Aqua Terror or whatever it was called? Right. Like there was this, they were going to build this kind of undersea Terramar. It was called Terramar. And they were going to build this undersea like sanctuary where they were outside of the rule of law. Do you remember that?
Not really.
So she was she had this thing all planned out. It's called Terramar.
Yeah, there's other similar objects in this tour similar to this, but this was very notable and it kind of stood out.
Yeah, and she was actually a licensed submarine pilot, as well as I believe a licensed pilot. Ghislaine Maxwell could move people around. And I think she might have even had her own submarine. So to me, this just reminds me of Maxwell and Terramar, because I think you've got a dolphin in there. And it's like swimming in an ocean of stars. Okay, let me go back to...
Yeah, go to the next story. We don't need to linger on this.
10:10 to 10:30.
Yeah. Now this blows my mind. And this commentator didn't know what it is, but these are two women scissoring. So you're a guest in Epstein's mansion.
Yeah.
And you're walking around and you're looking on the table, and there's this kind of crude ceramic, I guess is what it is. It looks like it's ceramic.
It looks ceramic, yeah.
Two young women, young girls, I would say, or young women scissoring.
Yep. That's what we call scissor sisters.
Yeah. Weird. So I mean, imagine being Bill Gates just walking around the house and isn't this interesting?
Oh, I'm sure he would have found it very interesting.
And I'm not a prude. I hope people don't realize that I'm not a prude. You know, I've had some interesting experiences in my day, but I'm not obsessed with this stuff the way Epstein is. It's just like everywhere. It's just got give it a break, you know.
We should
give
do
it a break.
We should do a show about Russ's interesting experiences. All right, 12:20. Let's just go there. All right, what is that?
So here we just got stacks and stacks of different computer. I don't even what's the word for this? Discs, CDs.
Right. So these would be like CD-ROMs or something like that.
Yeah, one of them says 1987 or is that 1997?
1997. Jeffery something Epstein, right? He's got his middle initial there. And then
now, who knows what that is? But the thing is, usually these are associated with computers, recording devices.
Right.
So it's just a sample. It was just kind of what's there. A lot of that.
A lot of information.
Yeah.
Look at that. You got your old flop. Nobody uses floppy disks anymore. That's how far back this goes.
But I mean, you could go in there and start using some AI or something, some good technology to start processing these disks. Mm-hmm. Maybe find some pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's so old school right there. All right. What's next? Let's see. 13 to 13:30. All right, let's check that out. Bless you. We're almost there. Here we go. Okay, so that's interesting.
Yeah, just play this at normal speed and let's just take a look at this room.
It's very predatory. Let me see. Oh, you got a sleep timer on here. That's good to know. Okay. So this is very predatory.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. A lot of this type of stuff. You've got.
What was that?
Some pictures of, a lot of this type of stuff. Photos of young girls' asses.
And those are on the wall there, or what's?
Just kind of in his photo. He's got photo albums everywhere, just filled with this stuff.
Who got these pictures?
I think this is. I I think some of this stuff might have been earlier. I mean, who did the? Somebody did the initial raid. Was it like the New York Police Department or the FBI? Yeah. So a lot of this stuff has just been sort of cut loose by the process.
Okay, so we got 1722. Let's do that.
Now this is weird. They go in there and somebody blew his safe open.
Interesting.
And there's some dossiers. Those are dossiers. Now, we don't know what's in them, what their dossiers of, or who they're of.
Well, clearly there's an operation going on here, right? I mean, even to somebody who's not very sophisticated, like you got multiple passports, who knows
a woman's purses.
There's an operation going on here.
Yeah, clearly.
I mean, when you see this, right, and you just kind of look at this, it refutes Pam Bondi's, to me, it refutes Pam Bondi's assertion. Oh, it was just a bunch of files with Jeffrey Epstein and him doing lewd sexual acts with minors. That's all it is. Like, to me, this seems like something else. Like, if it was just Jeffrey Epstein doing that, you wouldn't need all this. You would just have, files on your computer. That's all you would. Yeah, that's it. Like, to me, this is.
There are a lot of pictures of him. He basically had a harem.
Right.
And that was his lifestyle. And there's testimony of a number of his people the girls that were around him for years even. And there's one of them that was kind of interesting where she said that she shows up when she's about 14 and Epstein didn't touch her for a couple of years, just kind of groomed her and took her to Disney World and just really built up a lot of grooming trust. It's kind of weird. And then he had sexual intercourse with her 4 times, she said. One time where he shows up when she's sleeping, kind of jumps her. And that was it. And then just treated her very, very well the whole time. And taught her massage and just kind of, but she was also kind of farmed out to his friends. So that's the key right there. That's what she says.
Yeah, he's a perfect predator in a lot of ways.
He's grooming these girls. He's checking them out for characteristics, figuring out the ones that his friends or his associates or people that he's around would like, that would work for certain quote unquote clients of his, and then hooking them up. That was pretty much how it went down. So here's a guest room for a teenager.
Pink walls.
Who would stay in such a room?
Well, back in the old days, I don't know if it's that way anymore, but if you were going to be locked up, they would put you in a room where the walls were pink. Because pink has this ability to calm people.
Yeah, well, and some of these photos are kind of old. They kind of go back, 15 years.
Yeah.
15, 20 years.
But pink is a girl's color, but I think it's also, connected to this idea that if you're going to be stuck in this room, the color of the mood or the mood of the color is going to it's going to affect the person and generally put them more at ease. Like,
but it is kind of shabby. Somebody says it's like a shabby Eastern European B&B. That's kind of true. It's a little shabby. It's not really. It's not to my taste. It's not to my taste.
Well, it looks very temporary, which is weird. Like, it doesn't seem lived in. Do you know what I mean? It looks barren, temporary, empty, like it's a holding.
That's what the whole place looks like. It does not really look that livable. It kind of looks almost like dungeony.
What do we have here? More info. Another woman's purse. He's back to this room again.
Yeah, just follow my timestamps. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
This is in the same room on the wall. This is very typical. He just sort of has I would characterize as esoteric, lewd shit. Of some kind of like imaginary era, pulled out of like the 1600s or some weird ass shit.
Well, it looks like Art Nouveau and sort of modern primitive. Like that's a pretty big painting, isn't it? I mean, if that is scale to the, let me go back to it. I want to look at that again. If it's scale to the,
it covers the whole wall. It covers the whole big wall.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I could see like if you were in an altered state, like I could see this picture, this painting come alive. And these characters it's almost like this painting is a weird portal. And paintings have that effect.
Yeah. Yeah. Portal. Right.
All right. What else do we have here?
Oh, that's kind of interesting. I didn't really timestamp this, but why would you have a bowl of lollipops just sitting on a desk with a bunch of books? We have people over to your house. Do you have like a bowl of lollipops laying around for them? I don't think so.
No, we just have bowls of cocaine.
Yeah, I mean, you might have some, candy maybe, but I don't. I think that's kind of I guess that's for little girls. That would appeal to little girl, young girls.
So there's a book on the Maldives. This is right in Ghislaine Maxwell territory, right? Terramar. They actually have like a hotel that you can spend the night in. It's a submersible, fully glass hotel in the Maldives. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Interesting. Here, little girl, would you like some candy? This place is tacky, man.
I know. It's not that appealing. This is like maybe an office. What do I have? What do I have marked on here? I have to go to my notes. Under 28 minutes. What am I calling this? I'm calling it I guess we went through that. Yeah, go to. That pretty much covers it. So go to 33:55.
So that's Richard Branson.
Richard Branson, but
was his
pretty normal picture. Pretty normal picture. It's nothing really abnormal. But there are women in the background, but pretty normal. I mean, I can't really make much out of this one.
I have a Richard Branson story.
But wait till you see the picture. Wait till you see what he has of Clinton at 3350. That's a completely different story. This one's infamous. Everybody's seen this one.
The dress.
Yeah.
And this is him, theoretically, with an underage girl.
I would presume so.
Mm-hmm.
He looks kind of lecherous.
Oh, he does, man. He looks evil. That's like the face of the devil, or like one of the devil's servants. Look at him. All right. 33?
3350, right after that, somewhere in there. No, it's no.
Hold on. We'll just run in there. We'll just run it up. He looks high too, by the way.
Yeah, kind of like a stoner, maybe.
There we go.
This is the famous blue dress, which people have seen. So it adorned the walls of.
Adorn the walls, exactly. It's a painting hanging on the wall.
Do you think Bill posed for that?
You think Bill knows about this?
No, he posed for it. Did he put the blue dress on and pose?
Oh no, I think somebody just created it. I think it's kind of a mockery of.
It's the Lewinsky.
The Jewish intern that they slipped in on him.
Yeah,
it's kind of like ha ha ha, Bill. Don't you think this is funny?
Yeah, the stains on the blue dress. Notice the red shoes too. Look at the red shoes.
Bill, we Jewed you. This is our way of mocking you.
You know, the red shoes are symbolic of like blood and the soaking up of blood in these adrenochrome rituals, right? Like that's symbolic of the red shoes, bloody shoes. So that's interesting that he's wearing the red shoes here.
Okay, 3540 is just different things he has hanging on his wall. Just good representation. Just run this at normal speed.
3540. Okay, erotic art.
Just on the wall.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess a place that big would have a lot of wall space.
Absolutely.
But it would never dawn on any of us to, even if you had kind of prurient interest in this kind of stuff, would you just hang pornography? I mean, pornographic shit, or not all this pornographic, but it represents something. Like this girl here is not really nude,
no.
but it's kind of an invasion of her privacy to have her picture hanging.
Well, she consented to it, but the question is,
did she? Yes.
Did she? How old is she? And does she fit into a larger story? That's the question.
Well, okay, but even if you're involved with say you're involved with somebody like Epstein or anybody, any player, let's call it, would you want them taking pictures of you and hanging them on their walls? Would you consider that cool? I mean,
I don't know. Some women might think it would be a badge of honor in some ways, to be honest with you. Some might think it would be disgusting and gross. I think in that, my take on the women in the Epstein world is a bit more pragmatic than most because, I know some of the stories and, some of these girls were around 15, 16 years old and they were recruiting each other, right? I mean, they were coming from the Upper West Side or the Upper East, was it East Side?
Yeah, and they were groomed and they were being vetted. So they were vetting them from day one.
But and
if somebody didn't fit, somebody didn't adapt to that kind of lifestyle, here's your bus ticket, go home. That's how they would do it.
Right. But they had girls in Manhattan recruiting other girls.
Yes.
So,
yeah, and actually there's, the story is that according to one of the statements I was reading is that actually for a while at a certain point, Epstein had a hard time finding girls. He was running out of girls because he went through them pretty fast and had to vet a lot of them, probably get rid of a lot of them that just didn't fit the mold.
Well, that's where the International Modeling Agency comes into play, right? Because now they can get girls or women from, from like Croatia or the Czech Republic or, what's that guy's name? Luke. I forget his last name. He was the head of that modeling agency. Winds up dying.
Right. The French guy. Yeah. French guy.
French guy. I want to say Luc Brunel. Then there's this rumor that that's how Trump's wife gets brought into this thing through that modeling agency.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
So go ahead and just go normal. We'll go through these photos. Just take a look at what he's got. So this is a photo album.
Yeah.
Another photo album.
Looking for a way out. That's interesting.
Yeah. What the heck? Who put that there? Trapped on an island looking for a way out.
Jeffrey's an artist.
Yeah, a lot of hints and sort of innuendo type things.
Active enjoyment. This reminds me of like soft core porn from like the 1960s.
Yeah, it's not too. This is the stuff that we see. This is more of the unredacted stuff, so keep that in mind.
Right. All right. What's the next timestamp?
Next timestamp is
well, there's more. Here's more fun. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it goes to 39 minutes. There's a girl kind of bent over on something.
Right. No, it's everywhere.
These are breasts just on the wall of somebody's breasts. Those next to the fire hydrants.
Impressive breasts. Pendulous.
More, nude Art Deco type stuff.
Right.
Old school.
Yeah.
Just a book. Here's a book we just got on the table of more nudes from the old days. And we got whole shelves full of it. Right there, we see a figure of a man and a woman
copulating. They're copulating.
Or preparing to, certainly, something like that. So as we make our way up the stairs, we've got that to look at. And then we just have another photo hanging on the wall of what appears to be a girl, or maybe a young woman. Maybe, I don't know, who knows, kind of big.
All right, what's next? You got a deeper timestamp for me?
We can go to 40.
We're there.
Okay, just play it for just play it through to about 42 minutes. Starting at 40.
We already did that.
Let's see, what have I got wrong here? I'm looking for the dental chairs. Damn it. Where did those go?
Well, you just kind of scroll through this thing.
40, 30. You got the dental chairs?
Well, here's a massage table.
There's a massage table.
And, of course, there's erotic stimuli everywhere.
Right.
Like you're immersed in erotica. Everywhere you turn, you're seeing something that's theoretically titillating, right?
Yeah, it gets boring after a while. I mean, what's going on in this guy's mind? Give it a break. Give it a break. How about a little novelty?
Oh, I think this is for the guests. I think this is for the people that hang out there.
Now, here's your massage stuff, your P. Diddy's type stuff, different massages stuff. And, of course, a lot of this is used for massage, legitimately. But it's well stocked.
Crystal ball.
Yeah, so more nudes.
Yeah, it's just a completely immersive, erotic, pornographic environment. That's another photo.
I don't even know if that's a photo. It might be a painting.
Painting. Looks like it's a painting. Although it's blacked out. Why is it blacked out? It looks like it looks like there's a male face in here. Right? To me, this looks like it could be a male.
Yeah, you'll see a close-up of her. She's sort of ugly looking.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's redacted for some reason, but then later on, the same photo is unredacted, and you can see her face. For what
a lot of these women are also very similar shape-wise.
Yeah, that was his taste. He didn't like dark women. He liked white women that were kind of slender, youngish on the young side, not necessarily big-breasted, kind of athletic. That's kind of what he liked. That was his taste. He was brought like a darker woman from Brazil and kicked her out. And scolded the girl that brought her. Said, "Why did you bring me her? I didn't like her."
So much for DEI. What was that wall? That was kind of interesting.
Well, what I'm really looking for is the dental chair. If you go back and find the dental chair around 40 minutes, right in there, that's kind of worth a look.
All right, we're there at 40 minutes.
Yeah, dang it.
We've been through this section.
Okay, well, he's got a dental chair. I would ask, what the hell is that doing there? There it is. I think he just passed it. Another color scheme, bedroom. Anyway, the dental chair sitting there in one of his rooms.
Oh, how cute.
And it's almost like a scene out of like World War II or something. It's not really a modern dental chair. It's kind of old school dental chair. And hanging on the wall are masks. So
I just saw those masks.
Yeah, but in a dental room.
So these are the masks you're probably talking about, right?
That's different. No, those are other masks in another room.
Okay, so
I have dental chair marked at. I have dental chair. I call it cosplay dental with mask on wall. I have that at 40 minutes.
It's not there. So we went there.
Okay. Then I got 40-30 more nude shit, which we've already seen. Massage room. So that brings us around to 56-40.
Uh, 5603. We'll just play this. Here's his chessboard.
And the chessboard are nudes, of course.
Of course.
The players. And that's the hanging bride scene, which I believe is sort of in a prominent location in his mansion, like near the entrance.
Bronze hanging bride. Interesting.
Trying to escape or something.
And this place is creepy.
Okay, we'll go to
we got sex toys.
Yeah. Turn the sound on that. Okay, 5743, the cosplay fetish equipment. Let's go ahead and listen to him on this one.
These women, you don't know, but clearly this is here in Epstein's house. I'm more than willing to bet that this thing was used. You've also got this creepy nurse's outfit thing for dress up, I believe. Here's some more stuff that was found in another drawer. You got wigs. We're going to examine this stuff. It's like a sailor girl's outfit, almost like Sailor Moon. This could be, I believe, maybe like a flight attendant's outfit or school outfit. I don't know necessarily, but these are clearly all like sex play outfits. Because then you got a wig here as well.
They're cosplay.
Sailor type thing. This
dressed up like a stewardess or whatever.
Maybe, or some sort of military. I don't know. And then it says baby cry, but I mean cry baby outfit with a little.
It's definitely cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not abnormal, but it's just so.
Well, it's kind of abnormal if you're doing it with a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
All right. So this place is tacky. Erotic universalis. I mean, it is everywhere.
He's got his reading glasses there, so you can pick up the book and look at it. But you notice it's not real cheap pornography. It's actually fairly like collector's items type stuff that you might see in the 40s or 50s or something.
Well, it's there's a fine line between pornography and erotica.
Right. Yeah, it's more erotica.
It's more erotica. And, if erotica is done well, it's tasteful. It's like, I'm not a prude. It's like, oh, look at that. That's kind of interesting.
But again, there's just so much of it. It's on every table. It's on every wall. It's just
an immersion.
Everywhere.
It's an immersion is what it is. It's a full-on immersion into the libido. Let's see what else we have here.
Okay, 10140. We got Epstein with young girls, a whole bunch of pictures of him with young girls.
10140. Let's go back. Yep, there it is.
So this is just stuff out of his photo albums that are just abundantly laying around. He's always taking photos, just constantly. Did he even work?
Well, this was his work.
I mean, did he ever do any real work? Other than this shit?
Laundering money.
Not.
Does laundering money count as real work?
Laundering money, meeting with a bunch of bigwigs. He couldn't really entertain. He wasn't that great of an entertainer, other than providing them women, I guess, or girls.
Listen, nobody said pimping was easy, okay? Pimping ain't easy. It's work. And pimps would tell you that they work their ass off.
I mean, how many pictures does the guy have with that look on his face?
He's like, I'm just blissed out.
Blissed out and immersed. Just immersed. But kind of a skinny girl, not really my taste.
All right, so that's his closet.
At 102:30 to 103, we have this other connection, this 301 66th Street connection, the apartment building where the women were housed.
Right. So this is J.E. Jefferey Epstein. All right. Where do we go from here? Do we see these photos?
No, I kind of skipped over those. I mean, you can.
Those are his doodles.
Yeah, they didn't make any sense to me. But there's like his office space.
He's got
office space.
He's got 4 phones. It looks like.
What strange space? I mean, who sits there? Who runs that little operation? What's that all about? It's not exactly. It doesn't look like a billionaire's office space.
It looks clinical and temporary. What are those condoms?
Card games,
DVDs, digital tapes. This is old shit.
Yeah, that's just kind of crap that everybody has.
Yeah, but the technology here is old.
Right.
The
pictures are kind of old. Things really get outdated fast. I mean, that's part of it.
Digital videotape. Right, we got that.
When my dad died, I can't believe this shit we threw away of his.
I know, dude. It's hard.
It's just like decades old stuff.
What is this? Is this another massage table? I think so.
That looks like it is a massage table. But notice again, you got the leopard skins.
animal prints, predator, prey. Is that Karl Marx? That's weird.
Oh, take a look at this. Okay, there's the
staircase with the.
That's the staircase again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we just kind of flipped by a cleaning room. There we go.
Right.
So you just take somebody down there, hose them down, I guess.
There you go.
A big cleanup room.
That's where they took the Brazilian girl.
Yeah. The cast-offs, exactly.
Yeah. Give that bitch a wash before you kick her out of here. Turn her into a wet dog.
I mean, we could use our imaginations on that room, but it looks a little off.
Man, everywhere you turn, you're just getting inundated with erotica. We saw that before.
That's her face.
Looks very Swedish.
Or maybe tranny.
Could be. Swedish tranny. There's more.
Okay, this is actually a variation of a famous painting. Okay, I have a little note on this.
Is it like a Degas?
Monet.
Monet.
So he took the Monet picture, the famous Monet picture, and changed it.
Mm-hmm.
And put a more modern girl looking at the camera looking at the painter or whatever with a kind of an alluring look. Now look at all the body parts here. Body parts coming out of the wall.
Surprised the toilet isn't weirder.
Now that almost kind of looks like a normal room, but it's still got it
is tacky.
It's dated.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, here's a sign: 24-hour video surveillance. So maybe the guy, he bought the mansion, had this old furniture in there. He's got 7 stories, and maybe he just didn't feel like constantly spending money on updating every room. Okay, I can understand that.
Well, let's be clear. He didn't buy this mansion. This is Les Wexnar's mansion. Is that Clinton? What was that? Let's go back and see this. I'm going to have to credit this channel.
Yeah. Yeah, not only credit it, but people can kind of see what this guy has to say.
Yeah. I'll put a link to this channel. That looks like Bill Clinton, doesn't it? Isn't that Bill Clinton?
What does he say? Maybe he makes a comment on this.
So I haven't seen people talking about. Here's yet another picture. This is above the toilet in one of the bathrooms, but here we clearly see another artistic rendering of here's Epstein. And I'm assuming this clearly to me is Bill Clinton.
Yeah, it's Epstein and Clinton. That's what's going on there.
I mean, he treats Clinton like a trophy, like in one of his sex object trophies. He really does. That's how I see it.
Very schoolgirlish.
Young girl lying on the bed. Redacted face. Some kind of a gutted taxidermy
zebra.
Yeah, after being impaled and ripped open by lion. Oh, how about this one? The little kid just sitting there statue of a little kid. Just sitting there.
Is he black? Is he a black kid? Or just
Maybe.
a kid?
Well, it's a child, a kid, a boy, I think.
That's creepy. Ugh. I want to take a shower after watching this.
I know. Precisely.
I think he's black. Black and bronze. You got your Illuminati checkerboard floor there. Is that the kitchen?
Yeah. Well, it must be like a servant's kitchen or something. It doesn't look like a fancy kitchen.
Let's bring on the duality.
But then again, he didn't really prepare food, so maybe that is his kitchen. He just never bothered to do much with it.
There's the bookshelf.
Oh, there. Okay, there's your more prey and predator and prey.
Yeah, so this is a combination of like erotica and kind of faux tribal art.
Shows a tiger taking what I think it's a gazelle.
Yeah,
probably a gazelle. First, I thought it was a camel, but I think it's a gazelle.
I think it's a gnu.
Gnu.
Yeah. Let's see. I've seen this before. I don't know where I've seen it, but I've seen this before.
It's body parts again.
Wasn't it kind of a takeoff on the Venus de Milo? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, it's kind of trying to be Greco. The Greeks did this type of stuff a lot.
Ooh, look at that soiled. That's all soiled. Look at that.
Yeah, soiled mattress. And then let's take a little closer at the bed itself.
Temporary, man. This is all just temporary shit. There's the bed.
Yeah, well, that's not bad. I kind of like that one. I'd sleep there.
It's okay. It's a little creepy. Let's see. Stairs. Chandelier. 7 stories. Every post down here at the bottom of the rail has something on it. We got
a nude standing, a nude statue.
Right.
And then I don't know what the statue is on the staircase, but it looked like another nude. Somebody says it's like an old Twilight Zone show. It definitely has that. It definitely has that Twilight Zone era to it.
So there was a show that Rod Serling did called Night Gallery. Yes. This reminds me of Night Gallery.
That was a little later. Yeah, a little later than the original Twilight.
Night Gallery was creepy. It was very dark, very, very underworldy, very supernatural.
Yeah, I liked it.
not much science fiction, but more dark.
So here we're coming across some bedrooms that are actually nice.
Right.
So this could be where the actual guest slept, but then they had the pink rooms and everything for the girls when they were brought in.
Right. That's the Bill Clinton dress painting. Myriad of computer screens. Look at all those computer screens.
Yeah. This one's actually, to me, is big. What the hell is going on here? You know they're surveilling everything.
Absolutely. Looking very clinical, like a clinical operation.
Look at that one. Nice chair. So they got whoever the monitor guy is set up on a, game chair sort of. And there's all the files, all the discs from the activity. So this is like a monitoring room. I don't know how many of them they had, but this is clearly one of the main monitoring rooms of checking the scene out. This is big to me.
Again, let's just, line this up with Pam Bondi. And, we've looked at hours and hours and hours of just Jeffrey Epstein videos with, young girls, and they're all disgusting. It doesn't.
That's only partly true.
It doesn't fit the entire narrative. When you look at this place and you see all this collateral media.
Yep.
Like
dossiers, there's stuff on there. Come on.
Stuff stored. And if again, I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but if he just had kiddie porn, he would have had it on his computer or some kind of a hard drive or a server somewhere. And that would be it. That would be it. You wouldn't have all this collateral media and shit.
Well, Jeffrey Epstein was a pederast. He wasn't a pedophile. So his interests were 13 to 17-year-old girls. Sometimes
apparently there were younger girls, because there was a lawsuit that about the lawsuit, right? All these.
Well, he may have gone for a few 12-year-olds on occasion, but
there were apparently, from what I understand, there were a group of young girls who did not participate in the lawsuit because they were so young. So I would assume that there were some 10 and 11-year-olds probably in the mix.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, awful lot of signs of it. But I get my whole impression, he was doing a vetting operation where he would try the girls out, pick out the best ones for his purposes, and set them up with people like Prince Andrews. Prince Andrews will love her, that type of thing. Try to make matches, and also with Maxwell in tow, to try to find the right fits and the right accommodations, whether it's the mansion. But I can't imagine that. The only thing about the mansion is just convenient for New York. That's all it is. I can't imagine him bringing people in to stay in this dump.
Well, sure. I mean, I've seen pictures of Ehud Barak going into that mansion.
But it's probably just convenient. It's probably just convenience. He just happened to be in New York.
Ehud Barak has been there multiple times.
And so is Prince Andrew.
Yeah. So I think that they could clearly, farm these girls out in New York easily. And then if they need to take them down to the island, they just put them on the jet. And
because there could be more girls available in New York or Florida. That would be the other place.
So the blacked out or redacted photo here, that girl looks young.
Yep. Looks almost like a baby.
That's probably about a 9 or 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, I think so. That's a really young kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that goes back to this idea that there were some girls.
And again, why have a photo like that? And, unless it's your granddaughter or your daughter or something, but he didn't. That's not the case. Why would you even have a photo like that?
Lovely.
No one would have a photo of that, of somebody that was unrelated, just sitting on their desk or on the wall. I can't believe that.
And he looks like a lech. That's bizarre. That's a baby. That's a baby with breasts. Oh no, it's a baby hanging out. Sorry, it's still bizarre. I saw it a different way. It's bizarre. Very phallic. This is super phallic.
Look at the old phone there. Retro, totally retro phone. I mean, I would actually love to find a phone like that.
This is almost like phallic worship. Interesting. It's even embedded in this lamp here. Do you see it? Do you see the erotica embedded?
Yeah, Eastern European B&B. It's probably to make the Ukrainian girls feel at home.
It's just everywhere. It's completely immersive. Immersive libido.
But you notice it's not exactly hardcore personality and pornography. It's not really hardcore. It's more softcore and erotica. But it's just the abundance of it everywhere. Overkill.
It reminds me of this movie from the 70s, I believe, late 70s, called maybe earlier than that, called Bilitis. And it's this, you couldn't make this movie today, but it takes place on this Greek island, and there are all these young girls that they're nude, and they're walking around this island having deep conversations about life. And apparently I just saw it one time. It was on, I think it was on like HBO back in the early 80s when I saw it. And Patty D'Arbanville was in that movie. And Patty D'Arbanville was from New York, and she was in the Warhol scene. And she was the main star of that movie.
Yeah, and who knows who made the movie and set up the actors for it. I mean, that'd be like a completely different story.
Well, it was a French guy. It was a French director. But this reminds me of that.
Yeah, Roman Polanski type shit. Somebody says that this is Rape Central. The decor was just an afterthought.
Well, it's like completely libido immersive. You're always, I mean, if this is your thing, right? Everywhere you turn around, you're getting stimulated. Unless you're getting grossed out by slightly postmodern surreal art like that.
I mean, how would you even decorate a mansion like that? Honestly, I mean, where would you even start? I would have no idea how to decorate that.
One floor at a time.
Space.
One floor at a time. I'd like to have the money for the challenge. Let's put it that way.
Now, here's a stale-looking office space. Notice all the different office spaces? There's work going on here of some nature. Oh, stop there on the dog. Taxidermy of a dog pooping.
Oh God, that's weird.
Yeah, now you're getting truly gross.
That's a fancy piano. Look at that.
Nice room. That's actually a nice room. So some of the rooms are nice, probably like on the lower levels, and maybe those were used a little bit more.
It's a baby grand.
Heaven help you if you went upstairs. That's where the dungeons are. That's where it really gets creepy.
Let's see. The Professor. Oh, there's the video. Look how young Epstein is there.
Yeah, and I've never really seen him that well dressed. He's not a dapper guy.
No, he's always like he just came off the beach in Miami. He's very casual.
There's Trump in a suit and tie.
Trump just feels really coked up in this scene. Like he's just kind of manic. He's got a
women's looks in 1992 party footage. Now, just looking at the mansion photos, it's frozen in 1992. I mean, they didn't really change it much from 1992.
Let me let me do this. I want to go back. No, we don't want to see that. I'll get a fucking copyright strike for that. All right. So the name of this channel is The Conspiracy Files. So if you want to see this, and shout out to Conspiracy Files for doing this and letting us, I'll put a link into this channel after we do the show. People want to find it. Yeah, man, I want to take a shower.
Yeah, I don't know exactly totally what to make of it, other than something nefarious is going on by nefarious people. And for anybody to even associate with this guy, knowing that you're going to walk into one of the rooms and there's going to be, two women scissoring, or some gazelle being devoured by a lion.
Yep.
Anyway, we could wrap it up there. We'll do a little shorter show.
Did you want to connect any of the, I mean, we kind of already did at the beginning.
What do I have here on the Venezuela thing? Did I explain kind of how Venezuelan politics works? I got into that already, didn't I?
A little bit.
You got the Rodriguez family?
Yes, we talked about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a very important connection. Let's get into this a little bit. Venezuela and the Paul Singer connection. Now, people may not know this. It's near the bottom, one of the last items I sent you. A little cluster of articles. Venezuela and the Paul Singer connection, the latest clues from vulture capitalist Paul Singer. That's an older article. We don't need to look at that. But let's just take a little look at Paul Singer. You see it?
Let's see.
Paul Elliott Singer is another one of these ultra-rich Jewish financier, vulture capitalist.
Paul Singer, let me insert this. Paul Singer is the, how do I say this? Paul Singer is the financial and spiritual, quote unquote, driving force behind Unit 8200.
Right. Yeah. Heavy contributor to Israel.
Yes.
He's kind of stayed in the background, and he works on distressed debt situations, liquidations. He likes to steal things. He's a big looter. He's a vulture is what he is.
Well, he completely destroyed Cabela's.
Yeah, I don't know too much about that.
So let me just get into that a little bit. Cabela's was this really cool, a little quirky niche provider of outdoor gear, survival gear, farming stuff, like anything connected with the great outdoors. That would even include, some back to the land kind of stuff. Like that was Cabela's. And they were, I think they were a company town in Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken. Like they were a company town. And
I never heard of them.
So what happens is that Paul Singer winds up buying, what the fuck is the name?
Asset stripped him.
He winds up buying Bass Outdoors and Fishing, which is a competitor to Cabela's. And what he does is he sets up a hostile takeover of Cabela's because he wants to verticalize everything, right? So the Bass Pro Shops come in, and the members of the board, fearing that he's just going to buy up all this stock and just flip the company without them getting anything out of it, they wind up selling Cabela's to Paul Singer. So now Paul Singer has Cabela's, but what does he do? He says, I really don't need this. I'll take some of these stores, I'll turn them into Bass Pro Shops, but I don't need your company town anymore. Thank you very much. The whole fucking town dies.
Asset stripped it.
Yeah. It's not just the company. It's the main place where they put all the Cabela stuff together.
The main thing he operates on, you have to understand, everybody should understand that the debt covenants on debt around the world is all kind of set in the famous Southern Court, the Manhattan Court, Southern Court. That's where the covenants are. So if there's some kind of a dispute over debt payments, like Argentina, for example, the New York courts handle it. New York courts are just all Jewish judges, not all, but by and large controlled. So they just got the game rigged in New York, which is kind of interesting that they're dragging Maduro up there.
Right. And Singer's got this involvement with Gulf Oil, right? Down there?
Citgo. Okay, it's in the article. Let's just kind of go through it. It's the Venezuela and the Paul Singer connection. So he's also a holder of deeply discounted Venezuelan sovereign debt. So the debt gets in trouble, and he'll pick it up for 15 cents on the dollar,
right?
And then take it up into the New York courts and try to collect on it, and kind of negotiate different ways of making it partially whole, not entirely whole, but partially whole. One of the ways he do it is that these covenants make it so that he can go anywhere in the world and seize Venezuelan assets. So one of the key assets that Venezuela had was their state-owned oil company, Citgo. It was bankrupt. And 2 months ago, Singer got a hold of it, bought it. And then, but just by sheer coinkydink, now we've got Madero captured to quote unquote take over the country. So there's the story. Citgo is the crown jewel of Venezuela's oil industry. Elliott is set to reap the benefits. So if they ever get any heavy oil out of Venezuela, which is going to be, I think, problematic, it's going to be really hard to restore that industry down there. But they'll get some out, and Singer's company will get it. So he's going to have a windfall because he's got the refiners to take care of this heavy oil, doesn't it? And I think they're in Trinidad and places like that. So this Joy Brown makes a comment. He says, "Billionaire Jews all taking turns getting Trump to fulfill their wish lists. They're not even giving him time to rest between clients."
Paul Singer at one point supported Trump. And then
he was actually instrumental early on. So initially he wasn't for Trump. When it looked like Trump was going to win, all of a sudden he switched sides and showed up and quietly, not a lot of fanfare, not like Adelson, and just quietly wrote him up some big checks.
Mm-hmm.
At a time when Trump was saying, "Oh, I don't need Jewish money," Singer was giving him critical money at a critical time in 2016.
Right. Yeah. Wasn't he more of a DeSantis guy?
He may have been, but once Trump looked like he was going to be the guy, he jumped on board, as all these guys do. And Trump doesn't really care about that. He doesn't care he didn't care if you're dated somebody else.
If you have less power or resources than he does, I think he demands loyalty. But if you don't, it feels like the loyalty piece is tertiary. Like he'll put up with a person who isn't loyal or may not be loyal if they have more than he does or has something that he wants. That's my sense.
Yeah, where Singer operated was donating to Republican Republicans to Congress. Not as much Trump, but more elsewhere in the Republican, the Jewish takeover, the Zionist takeover of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
So that's where his money went. $37 million. And that's a lot of money to control politics. Well, this is who writes the checks. And this is payday for him. Venezuela.
He gets American grant money. I don't know if he still does, but he did for a while. And he was shuttling that off to Unit 8200. And if people don't know what Unit 8200 is, it is connected to the IDF. And the IDF at a certain point said, we need a geek squad. We need the best and brightest young cyber minds that we can kludge from our ranks. And we need to train them and make them essentially cybersecurity super soldiers. Right.
Yeah, and then they transition them to a lot of American type tech
and then they bring them into American companies.
So here's a little story on Singer. It says so Trump sought the funds to bankroll a primary challenger to Thomas Massey.
Right.
Singer contributed $1 million to his opponent or whoever's going to be the opponent of Massey. So Massey's going to get challenged with a bunch of this Zionist money from people like Singer.
Well, he just got $1 million from this guy named Yaz, which is his name Kevin Yaz. I think that's his name.
Who did? Massey did?
Massey did, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, $1 million to a super PAC. But this Yaz guy happens to be Jewish, right? So it's like, does that preclude a Jewish person from believing in Thomas Massey and believing in his idea of America? No, I don't think so, just because he happens to be Jewish. But it's interesting to note that he is. And who knows, maybe he's, sideways with some of these other guys. But Massey got $1 million from this guy.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I mean, the guy, you got to have money to be in politics, unfortunately. And it seems like the money comes from one source.
It certainly appears to be that way. What do you think of Dan Bongino and what happened to him and his proclamation of, he's going to go after all these bad guys still. He's going to support the regime and still go after the deep state. And he was bitching about being, about black pillars. And
yeah, I have a meme there. The meme of the day, it shows Bongino. He says, "You have no idea the nothing that I will unleash. You have no idea of the nothing I will unleash." That's the meme.
It's right there. We can see it on the page. How does this guy, I mean, once he went into the Epstein chipper, he was done, right? We didn't see him for at least 6 months, right? He's supposed to be with Cash.
Maybe they just wanted to ambush him. Sometimes that can happen. You put somebody in that you kind of want to get rid of and put them in an impossible spot and ambush them. That's politics. That's typical politics. I think they're ambushing Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, what an ambush she's been subjected to.
Well, I think they've freaking abducted her. They did this whole Venezuela raid thing without telling her.
Yeah, no, she's a key intelligence officer.
She's the head. And was the DIA?
Yeah, she needs to quit too.
Like they've just sidelined her. Yeah, Bongino, where does he go from here? Like people, like you've lost the truther crowd. You've lost the patriot crowd. Where does he go from here? He
would have to come out and start revealing some truths. He can't be bullshitting anymore. He can't start doing podcasts like he has so far.
Well, he's bullshitting
doing more bullshit. Yeah, more bullshit.
He's doing bullshit now.
Yes. So that means he's going nowhere.
He has no more credibility. Like if he had been hit with the shock of the Epstein stuff. And he's on the record that he was going to go after this. And now all of a sudden, he's got Pam Bondi saying, I'm in charge of this, and you got to slow your roll. And he knows why, because there's a there. I mean, I think there's a moment that happens, and it's right at the beginning. And he just goes MIA. He's missing in action for months. What he should have done, he should have resigned then. That's what he should have done. Because
they may have him compromised a la Charlie Kirk.
Well, if he had resigned, he would have had some good standing with the community that he had just come from.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Right. But he didn't do it, and he stuck around, and he
just slimed himself.
He slimed himself.
Yeah.
And he comes out, he looks a little like Lenin, doesn't he? He got a little Trotskyite going on there. He comes out of this looking really impotent.
But he's a good example of the kind of turtles on the fence post that they prop up to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, he had this background, doing security for Obama. So
right. Had some big revealing stories about Hillary Clinton. Who even knows if half that stuff is true?
So he comes out as this, insider.
A psyop.
He's got strong opinions. He's fast talking. He's from New York. So for some people, he exuded a kind of a degree of credibility. Like he's been, he kind of had a peek behind the scenes of the deep state. But it's all gone now. This guy's toast. I don't know what he does from here on out. I really don't. Because who would want to watch this fucking podcast?
Yeah, just another guy sucking up to Trump.
I mean, if he was just had a super hardcore pro-Israel channel like Ben Shapiro, he might get some people. But it's limited. It's a totally limited audience.
Ben Shapiro's finished. He's finished also.
Yeah, Daily Wire's bleeding cash and bleeding. Bleeding
too
numbers.
Much overreach. We talked about that last time. Just trying to throw everybody on the bus that's not on board his narrow view of the worldview, Judaic worldview.
What do you think is going to happen next, Russ? Because it feels to me like something significant is coming. And I know we say that, but I'm kind of clued into the astrology. And it feels like, so there's this guy named David Spangler. And David, I actually spent a week in Wisconsin where David Spangler was living and teaching with us. Kind of interesting. So David Spangler was this New Age visionary. And he wrote a book called Initiation into the New Age. And in it, at the beginning of the book, he says that in order to experience the New Age, you must come through Lucifer. And when I was younger and I read that, I understood it. I understood what he was saying, right? That you have to drop your preconceived notion about what passes for knowledge. And that Lucifer takes you through this portal where you begin your occulted journey. And it's like becoming a Freemason is a Luciferic journey because you begin to understand signs, symbols. You are indoctrinated into occult and as a result, kind of supernatural knowledge. But I understood what he was saying, right? And I was looking at the astrology yesterday on my show, and there's Pluto hanging out in Aquarius. And then you have all these Capricorn planets. By the way, when is your birthday?
Jan 7, Capricorn.
Well, happy birthday, Russ.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
I knew you were a Capricorn.
Yeah. You remember you did a chart for me.
I did a chart. I also did your human design. Anyway, these planets, Mars, Venus, the Sun, Mercury, are all going to pass through Pluto. And Capricorn represents society, the world, authority. It's very it's related to statism, status quo, culture. It's all very Capricorn. And all these planets now are going to pass through Pluto and Aquarius. And it feels like we're coming up on what I would call an occult initiation of a high order. And it's soon at hand. Like we're in like a kind of a week-long sort of window here, maybe a little bit longer with Mercury. But I can't stress how much on an esoteric level this is.
So you're saying the timeline is like right now?
Yeah, we are in the throes of a timeline. And what I would call the Luciferic initiation.
Well, there's certainly things out there that could happen that would tie into that, no doubt.
Well, it seems like whether what we've been witnessing has been a distraction, it seems like there's been this ramping up. And, we've just gone through the checklist. We've got Somalia, we've got Venezuela, we've got Minneapolis. Like there's something that's brewing beneath the surface. All that stuff is energy. And what it does is people don't know whether they're coming or going. It's like there's chaos. Chaos is a really big part of this. And I think
the big thing for most people, is what do you do with your money? If you've got money, if you have some wealth.
Is that part of the chaos?
Yeah.
Is the money part going to be like the coup de grace? Did we go on a bank run? Are they going to do a Paul Singer on everybody? Right. Is that where we're going? And all of a sudden, we find out that, you can't, this is national security time. We've got to do a bank holiday. We've got to shut everything down. And then when everything is shut down, what's it like when the lights come back on?
Or they give you a social credit score.
That's what I'm talking about.
Or an anti-Semitism rating and all that kind of stuff. Well, I think that's what's coming.
Well, yeah. We're getting something is imminent. And it's this initiation process as all these planets kind of pass through this Plutonian portal of Aquarius. And Aquarius is the rebel of the zodiac. Right, because the sun is the solar deity, which represents order. Right, it's timely. It keeps us alive. Uranus in Aquarius is in opposition to the sun. Right, so it literally is in opposition to order. So we're being moved through Capricorn, which is time and space and culture and hierarchies, and all these planets, the sun, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Moon not far behind, are all going to go through Pluto. And so we're about 2 weeks out from the entirety of this operation happening, with the last planet being Mercury, which is kind of far behind these other planets.
So the key dates are now through the 23rd of January?
I'd say that's probably appropriate, because that's when the sun goes into Aquarius, and we have another Sun-Pluto conjunction, which marks the first year of Trump's presidency. When he was elected.
So something kind of flips, basically something flips in the order.
Something flips. Right. And
how it flips could be extremely negative, could be positive, I suppose, but
it could be negative. But I think what happens is it could be simultaneous, in that there's this thing called the revelation of the method, which you know about. So people would, like, something would be revealed to people, like they would see in some ways what's happening, right? But by seeing what's happening, they would be a willing participant in what's happening, right? It's not like there would be some kind of blindsiding, although I'm sure
so a psyops.
It would be a psyop, but it would be like being almost like a silent partner or witness to it. And therefore, there's some degree of consent with it. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you can see it. You kind of know it's coming, right? And they'll tell you. They'll tell you. They'll reveal the method. And then what's hidden in plain sight gets activated. So I feel like that's where we're headed. And I think the 23rd is a really interesting day, because when Trump got inaugurated, the sun and Pluto were in conjunction in Aquarius at like 0 and 1 degree. We'd never had that happen before. And I said to myself, this is the aspect of Trump as Caesar, right? He is going to seize the reins of power.
Well, that's definitely true. I mean, I even have an article about Trump's instituting American Caesarism.
And you know, when a strong man comes into power, and I've seen this again and again and again, when a strong man comes into power, like Franco, for instance, when he came into power in Spain, he annexed land. He took land away from these rich landowners in Spain, and he took it away from them.
Yeah, because you have to reallocate to your support base,
and that's what he did. He reallocated, and
that's what happened in England under King Henry, when he basically confiscated the lands of the Catholic Church. He completely redid English society, created the aristocratic class, and put these new lands into the hands of the ruling class of England to this day.
Well, so with Franco, he threw some bones to the people, right? Here you go. Here's your land. Nasser did the same thing in Egypt. And one of the things that Nasser did is he seized the Suez Canal, right? He annexed the Suez Canal from the
But I can't imagine what Trump would reallocate to. I just can't picture him doing it other than giving benefits to his cronies.
Exactly. I mean, he even said it. That's our oil, right? We're going to take that oil. We're going to sell that oil to the Chinese. So it feels to me like the annexation is clear. It's Greenland. And he already annexed the Gulf of Mexico by renaming it the Gulf of America. So he's already been doing this.
Yeah, so that's all his revelation of the method. It's already in works.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's signaling all these grabs or thefts.
And there are people who are on board that train.
Right.
Because they see this as kind of the adjunct of American exceptionalism.
Well, it's American Caesarism is really what it is.
It's an adjunct. And Stephen Miller even came out and said, the time of peace is over. He said this. He said, we're living, essentially, I'm paraphrasing here.
Well, they look like they're really pining to go kick some ass someplace and really see what the U.S. military can do. And so there's an argument about that, about how effective the U.S. military really is in today's world. I tend to be bearish on it. I don't really think they're going to be that effective, but I could be proven wrong.
So putting this all together, I did a show last week, and it was called Spheres of Influence. And I don't know if you've heard this theory, but Xi, Putin, and Trump are kind of all in on carving up the planet. And I displayed a map where this is what Putin gets, this is what the US gets, and this is what Xi gets. And it's like Putin gets part of North Africa, Xi and the Chinese get the bulk of Africa because they're already there. Xi gets the South Pacific, including Japan, Korea, right? And then Russia gets like Europe, right? Russia gets Europe, North Africa, and the United States winds up getting Greenland, Canada, Mexico, Central America, and South America. So all this has already been decided, right? And as a result of this, Like, you have to ask yourself this question: why didn't the Chinese do anything?
Yeah,
Maybe they will. Maybe
they don't have. The thing is, they don't have a deep water fleet. They're not in a position to do anything about Venezuela.
Or
they might do something somewhere else.
Or maybe they're onto it, and it's like, well, you can have Venezuela because this is what we agreed upon.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, remember, we get Taiwan. That's part of the deal. So what happens in a kind of an operation like that is, instead of having big wars like against the Chinese or against the Russians, because the idea here is that they all got together and just said, we're going to, like three mob bosses, we're going to carve this up. What happens is that there's little wars.
Yeah,
right?
proxy
right.
stuff.
Right. So that what you do is you kind of take out the resistance. Like what we just saw in Venezuela was a little war. It was.
Well, did you see the little pump and dump that Trump did on the defense industry? Did you see that story?
No.
Okay, first he comes out, and then I just suspect the Wolf of Wall Street is Baron Trump playing this stuff on his stock computer because he gets the Vance News, he gets the tip off.
Yeah.
So he made a really strident comment about how the defense industry is not investing enough in plant and equipment, and they're paying they're doing too many stock buybacks. Very, very, very critical of the defense industry in general. He really picked on Raytheon, said they're really a bad actor. And so the stocks fell like 10% in a short period of time. And then 2 hours later, he announced that he wanted to increase the defense budget from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. And the stocks just went through the roof.
Well,
what kind of gaming is that? I mean, that's just got to be total corrupt insider trading.
He's made billions of dollars in the last year.
Yeah, I think Barron's actively involved. That's my theory.
Well, they're also connected to, what's his name, Mitnick, who, by the way, was Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor, Howard Mitnick.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of Epstein type financier types are playing this stuff. They get the inside information. He runs the tweets or the social media posts, and they just come out of the blue. I mean, the average person has no idea when they're coming, and even when they happen, there's sort of delayed reaction to everything.
California contrarian, seizure. That's good.
Yeah, the seizure regime.
Hangin says, notice how Trump just wouldn't read scripts of late. I don't think he's got much gas left in the tank for us. What do you think?
No, I don't. But he's the key to American Caesarism. Who would take his place?
Marco Rubio. That guy's a little fucking Caesar. Although he's not supposed to take his place. That would be J.D. Vance. But Marco Rubio reminds me of somebody who really understands like palace intrigue, will do anything, right? And this is what happens with guys who take over. They make themselves indispensable. Howard Lutnick. Thank you, BB. It was Lutnick.
Yeah, Rubio's a real minion. He really is. He just carries out. He's kind of like Joseph Goebbels.
Well, that brings us back to Paul Singer, because Paul Singer launched him into politics.
Okay. So keep an eye on Paul Singer because he's no longer in the background. And so his moves and his activities and what he stands for is how this plays out.
Yeah.
It's no longer Miriam Adelson. It's more Paul Singer.
Although don't discount Miriam Adelson. Right. She's
well, Paul Singer is going to try to save the Republicans in the midterm elections. That's going to be one of his roles, writing out checks. But meanwhile, they got to give him the largesse to write the checks against, and that's deals like Citgo and whatever else is coming, deal making and looting in Venezuela or whatever they got targeted. Cuba.
Oh, they're just getting started.
Yeah, I think Cuba's definitely got to be on their menu.
Sure. And they've already saber rattled with Colombia. And they need Colombia to gain access to the Darien Gap and ultimately be a partner or neighbor with Panama, because I think they want the Panama Canal back.
Well, Cuba could really be an economic boom. I don't know if it's the kind of economic boom that's necessarily good. It's Americanism, but still, think of all the McDonald franchises they could open.
Well, the people in Cuba would have to make some money in order to go to McDonald's.
Right. But the thing is, the money's already in the United States. The Cuban money's already there.
Yeah.
And so it would be released on, and people like Paul Singer, the Jewish financiers would clean up. And I'll bet you anything they're positioning themselves in Cuba, maybe even Venezuela, by buying, in fact, Paul Singer's been active in, is it Paul Singer? Yeah, Paul Singer's been active in Greenland.
So these are the financiers of the New World Order.
Yeah. The American Caesarism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ugly shit.
Well, again, they've kind of ginned up the game because a lot of people are jaundiced and they're tired of, America getting fucked over, the middle class getting fucked over.
Yeah.
And they see some of this and they equate that with winning. They do.
Yeah. Well, not them. They're not going to win.
No, but they identify with America. It's like, well, good. This needed to happen.
So Marco Rubio and Paul Singer are going to win, and somehow that extends to me. Okay, yeah.
Well, no, but it's like even this, woman getting shot in Minneapolis. There are people who have taken great pleasure in that because she's a symbol of everything that is off in society. She's a radical. She's a lesbian. She moved to Canada. Didn't like it there.
Well, the whole thing can also just be a fake staged deception too.
Doesn't matter. Even if it's fake, there are people who don't know it's fake, and they're pounding their chest, fucking around.
I guess my big problem is I just don't like the idea of masked men, masked Cheka going around stopping people.
I'm not sure there is anybody who does, unless they've been indoctrinated to be slaves.
Right.
Because to me, that's slave thinking.
Absolutely. Yep. No question.
But on the other hand, I also understand their dilemma because they have identified with an America that at one point in time was strong, had values, like there was a center. There was a center in America, kind of a core. And that core got eaten away from the inside out. So by the time we get to Obama, people are starting to, turn green and they want to puke. And then Trump comes along and says, I'm here. I represent you. I'm going to be your avenger. I'm going to take on the deep state. And they've been hoping, praying, wishing that somebody would get arrested, that there would be some kind of fallout from this tyranny. And what it looks like on the surface now, that they're starting to throw the masses some crumbs for the bread and circus. Right? That's what's happening.
Mixed in with guys in black masks running amok on your streets.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a dilemma because you've got to, if you're going to remove these illegals, it's a major operation. It's a major law enforcement operation. Yeah. So of course there got to be some discretion given to the officers involved, but it also opens the way to Cheka type stuff and makes everybody vulnerable.
Right. Absolutely. It's a fine line between and I get it. I understand where these people are coming from. We sat through the summer of Floyd here. You were over in the Czech Republic. And
there's a comment: the masks are not the problem. People breaking the law, like it or not, is the issue. Law and order is needed. No, the masks are a problem because it's scary shit. Do you really want your law enforcement to be wearing masks? Seriously? I'll tell you what, take the masks off and then go ahead and enforce the law. That's my requirement.
Well, they'll come back and say, well, we'll do that as long as you identify on the internet. And everybody is transparent. None of us are anonymous anymore.
Right. So they just got you one way. They wear the mask and everybody else is transparent. So everybody's fucked.
So I feel like we're right up against this thing. And that's why, like, this is just a naked power fucking grab. And Stephen Miller's even telling us the time of peace is over. We are aggressively going to pursue our goals, like in this hemisphere.
Yeah, they want to fight a war. They want to kick some ass. Maybe, and probably Iran is the target.
Well, if Khomeini steps down, they've got their regime change. They don't need a war there.
I'm telling you this: if Khomeini steps down, the revolution, the Guard is taking over,
unless they again insert the Shah's kid. But this is something to note. Netanyahu's wife apparently has now taken up a permanent residence in Miami. So this is what I've heard. And it makes total sense that the transfer of power, both ideologically, economically, and even socially, is happening from Israel to the United States. And I could see Israel being wiped off the face of the earth. Like that could happen, but only before they move all their assets out of there and have their formal kind of colonization of the United States. And with, what's her name? Sarah Netanyahu, like she's here in Florida permanently now.
Wow.
And I feel like that is, that could be on the table, but we're going to see these little wars. We're going to see these wars where they're going to pop in and try to flip one of these countries that, aren't part of the Rothschild banking system. And
if I had to guess on your dates that you've been referring to, I'd say Iran is going to be it. Yeah. Things are going to really erupt. And Iran might fall, because the government's under strain.
Yeah.
There's a lot of internal subversion going on. They've been kind of weakened because of these sanctions. Yep. And it's pretty hard to maintain your country when your money's being seized and taken from you all over the world.
Right.
And that's
the money's being seized and people can't eat and the power gets turned off. The
apparently the internet's down. So I'm not hearing some good news out of Iran. I don't know what to believe, but
the masses get restless, right?
Yeah.
Let's go just through a couple more comments here. I don't know if it's the commie dictators taking over. This is a different kind of beast. This is a technocratic takeover.
Yeah, it's authoritarian.
It's authoritarian, technocratic takeover. Right? The whole idea with communism is that when the state seizes everything,
they're actually more Trotskyites. They're kind of, if you want to use the communist analogy, it's more of the Trotskyite wing of communism, which is authoritarian and sort of globalist.
And it's technocratic, right? That's the whole other side of this. Then you have this whole layer of the surveillance state and, cattle, chattel, and we're all just, produce here, right? That's basically what we are. So keep an eye out. It feels like, again, from the astrological side of things, Pluto and Aquarius, we've got these Capricorn planets passing through. It is the Luciferic initiation. And it is at hand. I'm going on the record. It is at hand. And we're going to see some things happen over the course of the next 13 days that I think are going to be significant.
Wouldn't surprise me.
All right, Russ, another one in the can, as they say.
All right, everybody. Keep an eye out in the next 13 days, and we'll see you in a month.
We'll see you back here. Thanks for doing a double dip back to back, Russ. You take care of yourself, all right?
All right, you too, especially. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye for now. That was the great Russ Winter in 2 hours and 23 minutes worth of geopolitical discussion. And there's a lot of really good channels out there, but Russ and I cover a lot of ground on this subject. And if you like the content, and I talk a lot about these issues, either from kind of a meta perspective or, bringing in the astrology, which I do Tuesday through Thursday, hit the like, subscribe, keep this relevant, keep this channel relevant so that there's a there, and we can continue to have these discussions and guests and to help you stay informed in a very interesting time. Okay, you guys take care of yourselves. We'll be back on Sunday night with Sunday Night Astro Live. I'm going to get more into this Luciferic initiation as we approach Aquarius on the horizon and why I think this season of Aquarius will be like no other. All right, take care. Bye for now.